Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk through the ban list and how absolutely disappointing it was if you are a premium player, but if you're playing every other format, you are in a pretty good position at the moment. I haven't talked about the ban list just yet, so here is a video of my opinions and I guess my reactions to the ban list. And yeah, as you can probably figure out already, I am utterly disappointed, and just kind of explain what other decks or what other cards should be put on this ban list. If you guys need any coaching for the BCS season, my link is in the bottom right hand corner for my Metafy. Feel free to book a session and we can get started. If you guys haven't done it already, click that subscribe button to get all the notifications on all of my new videos. So, V, no changes. That is normal, right? That is absolutely normal. V is in a pretty good place at the moment, probably the most balanced format at the moment. With the introduction of more VPRs as the month goes by. Yeah, that's what you expect, right? Standard format. So Gandiva got hit, so Scarlet Flame Bow General Sturgnar is now restricted to 1, and to be honest, it is a good hit. It's a good hit at the moment because Gandiva and Willista are the two powerhouse decks in the format, and to kind of hit it, not completely blow away the deck, and kind of give Gandiva, I guess, more slots to kind of, play the festival collection guy, or put in some other shenanigans in the deck, kind of frees that up and also hits the consistency of the deck itself. Now you can't just Soul Blast, get a bunch of bind, and your power scaling goes incredibly high the moment you hit grade 3, because Sturgnar was just ridiculous, right? So yeah, that's a pretty good hit to Gandiva, and following the Japanese list, it was definitely something that should have been done earlier. And then the second one is the restriction between Tranquil Affection Elvira and What Color Is Your Wish Voucher Blood. This is a really good hit as well, just hits the consistency of the deck. I think Willista is actually pretty okay. It's not completely gone. It's like, a tier 1 to now tier 1.5 deck. It's still strong, right? You just replace the Elviras or the Voucher Blood for like more Romanas, more Yuikas. You put in Trixie so that you can get your Persona Rise a little bit easier. This hit actually doesn't affect Willista too much, right? The deck, yes, you draw slightly less, but consistencies wise, yeah, Willista got hit, right? Then the next standard hit was the unrestriction of Eva and Combine Rusher. This is, to be seen, this is as expected. To be honest, Eva isn't that deck that it was before, completely oppressive, and this is definitely something that a lot of Eva players really would like to see. And to be honest, both of the cards don't really work in conjunction anyways, and if it does, then cool, heavy resource for a +1, and yeah, it's just good, right? The ban for, well, the choice restriction between Brainwash Swirler and GG, why that was not unrestricted is because if all of these decks are hit and Chronojet gets everything that it wants, it probably becomes the best deck again. So that's probably why the GG restriction didn't come off. And Jet at the moment, it's still living its good life. It's gotten Gungaram, it's got more Soul Charge cards. You're playing Zargon, you're GG Soul Blasting, and we still see Jet tops. And yeah, the deck is in a good place. I think all of the decks are like kind of even ground at the moment. Orphis Mask is one of the new decks coming into the format, Bastion Accord as well. And we can definitely see that, these hits, once it gets to like, BCS Singapore, BCS Melbourne, we'll see how much of an impact that is, because then we'll see a bit more, variety come in, like the Zorgas, and some of the other decks that we didn't really see because Gandiva and Willista were just absolute powerhouses. Now, the big discussion, and let's just go through the first hit. So the first hit is the choice restriction between Sweep Command Dragon and Demolition Dragon. Yes, this does fulfill one of the, I guess, wish list items that I had. And that's because Eradicators at the moment is a very consistent deck, right? Overly consistent deck. And you're seeing the stats, 22 or 20 something wins or 20 something tops with Erads, where the second one is like 14 or something, there's a huge gap. We can see it, right? Fuzzy released a graph and it just kind of shows, you know, Erad's just a really consistent, you know, turn off your brain deck. Anyone can pick it up and, you know, go along with it, right? It's not to say that the deck is bad. The deck is good, but you hit the consistency engine and it just drops just a little bit, just slightly, tap on the wrist and call it a day, right? Then, you know, you don't get complete like, oh my god, like this deck is like best in the format, probably the most consistent deck, and, you know, just overrules everything else, right? Just puts the power level just slightly down, in line with everything else. And this is like a, I guess, a ban that, or a choice restriction that is overly welcomed by a lot of, you know, players who play different clans, right? Now, the big two that are not on this list, first one being is Myrtoa. Why is this card not on the ban list? All right. Now I'm going to show you a video, and big shout out to Stephen Buniono for winning BCS Indonesia over the past week. He came first with Melista, and a big shout out to Naru Samurai as well, winning with Eve Loop, 2 loot decks that incorporate Myrtoa, and both different decks, and both came first, literally after the ban list hit. Okay, so I'm just gonna play this video for you, and you can just see, like, Steven is the furthest guy in the video, right? And pretty much all he's doing is, you know, playing a bit of solitaire, you know, drawing a bunch of cards, literally placing cards to the bottom of deck, you know, placing cards on rear guard. Oh look, put into soul, bounce both of his Urals back, and then as he goes, then he places Myrtoa. I think that's Myrtoa, yeah, he's Soul Blast 1, if I'm not mistaken. Soul Blast 1, everyone draws a card, and it keeps going on, right? Jovan on the other side, you know, drawing, over placing, and, you know, he's gonna keep doing that over and over and over again. Now let me tell you, this video is 7 minutes 34. And this was taken already halfway through, I guess, the drawing bits of it, right? This is the equivalent of uninteractive gameplay. And one of the criterias for Bushiroad banning a card is, I guess, where your opponent or where any player has, I guess, inability to have fun, the unfun experience, right? Now I'm just gonna scroll back a little bit, just a little bit. I think it was here, just a bit zoomed out. Yeah, here. Okay, now if you look at the judge, right there, okay? This guy's sitting there and he's like, what the hell is going on, right? Why am I judging this table? You're doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, and this, so Steven had to play out the loop the whole way, and the judge here is sitting like, man, I could be going to grab, like, you know, Starbucks or something. You know, I could go get a snack. I could go, you know, talk to other people. I could be judging a different table, helping them out. I could be helping on the stream. I could be doing so many other productive things, but I have to sit here and look through this loop for 7.5 minutes. Like, that is ridiculous, right? And to think that, you know, this loop, right, if you have to sit through 7.5 minutes, that is technically in any other TCG regarded as slow play, right? There is in the comprehensive rules where you can show that the game state stays the same, and I guess declare however many times you want to loop and call it a game, right? But it doesn't change the fact that this deck is absolutely degenerate, and I can't believe it's not hit, right? Now, Eve Loop kind of does the same thing. Obviously 1 turn slower, but a bit more consistent, right? Like, what is Jovan doing? Jovan's literally just drawing, placing a rear guard, drawing, placing a rear guard, drawing, placing a rear guard until he decks out, right? If I wanted to draw cards from my deck, I'd play Go Fish, right? Or competitive Uno, right? That is way more interactive than this game, okay? So this is just an indication that Myrtoa is absolutely a problem card, right? People say, you know, ban Weddle, ban this, ban that. No, the problem card is Myrtoa itself, right? Yes, there will be, you know, discussions like, oh, why don't you just errata Myrtoa, right? Because it affects V, right? we don't know what the future of V is like, but if you errata in premium, then it's just going to be like this class that's like, you know, what effect is what. You're going to be errataing the whole card in its entirety, and, you know, V is going to get hit. And in V, it's supposed to be, you know, considered as an attack extender, right? If you're, you know, making excuses like, oh, you know, why don't we just like choice restrict this, that's not going to resolve the issue, because you give Vanguard 5 more years, right? 5 years down the track, 5 years worth of lyrical support, and if you tell me Myrtoa is not going to, you know, create a really busted loop again, well, guess what? It will, right? So why don't you just ban the problem card? The problem card is Myrtoa itself, right? So over the past week, right, we did not see Myrtoa hit, and it claimed 2 first places at BCS, and you cannot make up a better story, right? Kai retweeted it. I think I have a tweet at the moment. Go retweet my tweet and, you know, spread the awareness of this absolutely degenerate deck, or this card that makes this degenerate loop. This is not how premium is supposed to be played. This is not how Vanguard's supposed to be played, right? Vanguard is all about, you know, interactions like guarding, G-guarding, denial griffin, you know, like all those interactions, all those, you know, decision and, you know, decision trees that you have to make, all the things you have to kind of think of 1, 2, 3 turns ahead. That's what Vanguard is about, right? Without, like, Myrtoa is literally a time bomb. 3 turns, call it a day. 4 turns, that's it, it's over, right? If you can't beat me in 4 turns, well, too bad. I'm just gonna get to the bottom of my deck and get to the game set that I want, loop you, and that's it, okay? Ban Myrtoa. That's just it, okay? Now the second card that I am actually pretty surprised, because it kind of comes under the same category for banning Myrtoa, and that is Ghidorah Grade 4. Ghidorah Grade 4 comes under the unfun experience, and that is not in its entirety across all player population, but that's just in regards to the people who play, you know, Grand Blue, who play Shadow Paladin like Luard, right? Gold Paladin, Royal Paladin, you know, that card in itself just stops those decks. And the fact that it's at 4 and essentially is costless, because Mega Colony have insane amount of ways to countercharge, and it's just, you know, count +1, not even Persona Flip, like, it's actually free, right? Sure, you know, Optorandus is a CB2, at least it's using a bit more resource, you can kind of deny that card, I guess, but, you know, it's very inexpensive, and, you know, you're only attacking 3 times. Ghidorah allows you to hit 5 times, 4 to 5 times, depending on, you know, what you call, right? That card is unfun, right? So obviously, it fits into the same category as Myrtoa, obviously not in its, you know, severity, right? But, you know, if you're playing the likes of Grand Blue, why do you ever want to see Ghidorah? You're playing Neonectar, why do you ever want to see Ghidorah? You know, Royal Paladin, why do you ever want to see Ghidorah? Pale Moon, auto loss to Ghidorah. Like, dude, you already found the problem card. The problem card is the Grade 4 Ghidorah, right? Mega Colony have other strides that it can go into. And, you know, as time goes on, you know, Ghidorah, well, Mega Colony in general will get more support, more premium goods, you know, in the bag. And, you know, that's how you know, evolve this clan. Because obviously Ghidorah, the Grade 4, is a pretty poorly designed card, right? And I think a lot of the strides from that premium collection was poorly designed, right? So why don't you hit it to 1? Why don't you just hit it to 1, call it a day? You know, you're not banning it. You know, Ghidorah players can still play it, similar to Sunverse. Narukami players still play Sunverse, and, you know, it's a card that, you know, you can transition into to slow down a game, right? So yeah, that would be my wish list, right? 1 Ghidorah Grade 4 to 1, ban Myrtoa, and we have a very, very, very good premium landscape. Sure, there'll be, like, you know, questions like, oh, why don't you ban Grand Blue, or hit Grand Blue in a way, you know, restrict Beatrice to 1, or choice restrict Beatrice in this, or maybe put Greed Shade to 1. It's not needed now, right? The whole idea is to stop these degenerate decks first, right? Evaluate the landscape, then iterate on it. That's just how changes work, right? And let's be real, we're not going to be in a perfect world where, you know, every deck is going to be even leveled. There'll be decks that are a little bit better than others, but there'll be more decks a little bit better than others, right? Not in comparison to at the moment where Erads just run the landscape and that's it, right? So yeah, in addition to this, ban Minotaur, Ghidorah to 1, that would be my wish list for Worlds, and I hope this reaches Bushiroad. I hope this reaches whoever it needs to reach to get this done. If you guys haven't already, if you guys have Twitter, I'll put it in the link description below. Go retweet, repost my video or my retweet of that video, and the inability to essentially do anything while you're in the loop, and yeah, spread some awareness. Let's get this out there. Let's get Minotaur banned, and that's just how it is, right? And that's pretty much it for this video. These are my thoughts on the ban list, and for the most part, it was great. Premium was absolutely terrible. I actually couldn't believe it when it came out. So yeah, that's just how it is. And if you guys like this discussion video, pop a like, comment down below what you guys think of the ban list, what needs to be hit on the ban list. Let me know down below. And if you guys haven't already, click subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.